Hello, hello. You are listening to Iowa We Can Do Better, a podcast for progressives who believe our state, and our country for that matter, deserve more than what we're getting. We are your hosts. My name is Liz Fleming.
My name is Sarah Bose.
I am from the great state of Iowa originally, from Dubuque, Iowa, living in Des Moines. And Sarah?
I am
You're
from
not
New York
from
City
here, are you?
originally, but I am not. No, I'm from New York City, but I've called Iowa home since 2021.
Amazing. And I'm so glad that you're here. You know, a lot of my
I'm so
friends
glad
moved
to be
out
here.
of the state of Iowa after they graduated from school or pursued options elsewhere. I'm glad that I ended up gaining a friend that came
Yeah,
to
it's
Iowa
good.
from somewhere else.
And I came here on purpose. That's always a thing I feel like I have to tell people. People are like, "What and why?" And I'm like, "Oh, because Des Moines is cool, and we have mainframe and all sorts of other stuff. Like, I did this on purpose. I was not bullied into it."
I also love telling people, yeah, I made a friend. Her name's Sarah. She's been everywhere in the country, and she lives in Des Moines, Iowa voluntarily. But really, Des Moines slaps. Des Moines
Des
rocks.
Moines
I'm
slaps.
glad you're here. I'm
Can't
glad
confirm.
I'm here.
Yeah,
But, you know, it really has been a while since we've recorded a podcast episode. So I'm glad we're
it has
back.
been a long time. Yeah, same. I am super glad we're back. It we had to take a break for I think for ourselves for some decompressing after last election. Things were scary for a minute, and we took a break, and now we're back.
Things were scary for a minute. I know we talked about it the other day, but I remember putting all of my online accounts on private. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to hear from anybody for a while after the election. Eventually, I think we did start to unpack what happened, we being like the entire country, and I think we continued to do so as we are currently living under the Trump administration and all that comes with it.
And all that comes with it. Yes.
Speaking of, last weekend were the No Kings protests in Iowa, across the country, but in Iowa, I want to highlight there were towns as big as Des Moines and as small as Oskaloosa that had turnouts for these events, just people from all across the political spectrum coming together and protesting fascism, protesting authoritarianism, and protesting the guy in DC who threw himself a little birthday military parade on the same
That
day.
failed. That failed spectacularly. I have a great amount of joy that his parade was very poorly attended when the No Kings protests across the country were record breaking. I mean, like legitimately the largest mass outing of anti-government marching ever. And that is truly excellent. I got a chance to go up to the Capitol during the one in Des Moines, and the turnout was so good. It was so hot, and people were giving out water and hanging out and chanting, and there were some really good signs. Um, when it first started, there was a little bit, I was a little worried things were going to get a little heated because in all around the East Village and leading up to the Capitol, there were a bunch of like giant bro trucks with giant Trump flags, honking and jeering at people. And the second they drove past a crowd, people would just be like, "Boo, you suck!" And that actually worked. They just went away. It was really funny because there were so many more protesters than there were folks who were like, "Yeah, Trump," which was genuinely hilarious. So then by the end of, the allotted time up at the Capitol, everyone driving around was just like honking and cheering and being like, "Yes, you're doing the right thing," which was super cool. It was super cool to see. Uh,
Warms my
I know
heart.
Des Moines is blue. It does. I mean, I know Des Moines is blue, but like, it's really nice when you get to see it visually like that, and everyone out in droves, and people of all ages. I mean, I saw babies to very elderly people, and everyone was out having a good time.
And I know there are some criticisms of, okay, everybody went out to a protest, like, what is this going to change? And although protesting is highly regarded as one of the most effective forms of civil disobedience or push for social change ever, if
Yeah,
nothing else, it lets people know that they're not alone and it allows people to organize beyond just the one day event. Because now people are likely connected with other progressive groups or organizations within their state, like Bitches Get Stuff Done, or the Insufferable Wenches, or their county Dems, or whoever they are associated with, whoever they are meeting and finding community with at these protests. That is an excellent start for leading up
absolutely,
to the future.
absolutely.
Outside of that, we've had a really busy couple weeks, Sarah.
We have, it was not even a couple weeks, it was a week. It was from like a
Oh,
Sunday to a Sunday. It was
that
one
was
week
one
of
week,
just
wasn't it?
bananas.
We had the
Uh,
Pride Parade, which
we had the
we
Pride
got
Parade.
to ride in the bed of a truck for the Polk County Democrats with Heather Ryan and Kira Barker, which was fab.
Yes. It was so fab. Like that was definitely like a bucket list item for me. And as someone who grew up going to the New York City Gay Pride Parade and like grew up in Greenwich Village, it was so exciting to be a part of it. And it was great. I love a parade, and I think Pride in Des Moines. I think Des Moines does a really great job at Pride, and it was such a great weekend full of like love and acceptance and fun. It was great, and topping it off with the parade, perfect.
Absolutely. I love Pride. I love just seeing people in their joy and expressing themselves and feeling safe among other people.
Hmm.
Like, one of my favorite things at the entire weekend of Pride was the parade because we got to look out into the crowd and see families and kids who, I don't know, you can sometimes look out and tell, like, maybe that kid is different than other kids.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of other kids like them at school. You love seeing kids and people of all ages just feeling like they belong and that they're safe in a community and that they can be happy and proud to be themselves. It just warms my heart. I also really enjoyed looking out into the crowd and seeing your parrot, Pork Chop, attending the parade with Kyle.
Yeah. If for some reason you don't know, I have a 5-year-old green cheek conure named Pork Chop, and we have a little backpack for him that we take him out in. And as we were rolling in the parade past my apartment building, I look out and I see my fiance, and I realize he has the backpack with our bird, and it's like, "Hey, Pork Chop is here,"
You can also
which
look
I
up.
was,
There was a parking garage where someone was holding their
yeah,
giant dog like a baby,
yes, which was,
and
oh, it was
just
so
waving
cute.
at the dogs was a huge plus as well.
We we did a lot of shouting about how much we love dogs during that
Yeah,
entire parade route. We were like, "Your dog is perfect. Your dog is. I love you."
it's weird because sometimes it was just quiet, like
Hmm.
especially at the beginning. You're easing into the parade. Once you get down to
Yeah,
like the garden, it's loud and you're in the like thick of the parade. But at first, you're just like. I am just individually saying hi to people and telling them I like their dogs because they can hear me and I'm in a float and this is great. It rained a little,
and it's just
but it
great.
was so worth
It
it.
did.
Like if
It was totally
it
fine.
added to the lore, it added to the aesthetic.
It did.
It was
I
perfect.
also I accidentally confused some folks because STG, Sarah Trent Garrett, was marching with Polk County Dems, who we were with, and so the truck we were on had a bunch of Sarah for Iowa signs because all of her signs say Sarah for Iowa. And a number of people came up to me and were like, "Are you running for office?" And I was like, "Oh, no, 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 that's STG. That's not me. It's a totally different Sarah."
You're like, yes, just kidding. So, in addition to the Pride Parade, we recently spoke at the Next Century Forum event in Clive. That was
Yeah.
really wonderful.
It was their first event.
It was
It
their
was
first
their
event.
it was their inaugural event, and it was me and you and Jennifer Compers. And it was great.
And
It was
what was the name of the bar we were at? Rookies in Clive? Shout
Rookies,
out.
yeah, Rookie Sports Bar, yeah.
Shout out. No,
Uh,
that was really cool. And I love the mission of getting the next generation of leaders
hmm yeah,
elected.
yes, that is our mission here as well. So that works out. Like we're aligned. We are aligned, which is great.
We're not ageist, but also representation matters. As far as the voices at the Capitol in Iowa or the Capitol in DC, I would like it if there was someone there talking about issues that are unique to this demographic. So I'm a millennial. I would like someone in there talking about how none of us have hope that we can buy homes one day and that our student loan debt will never be paid off. And I know that's unique to just a subcategory of people. So I want somebody to be in there talking about it or at least sharing my frustration.
And also someone young who is also concerned about Social Security because, like, I know my mother towards the end of her life, she was surviving on Social Security. That was what was keeping her going. She didn't have a 401k. She didn't have any of that stuff. And I know that I have been contributing to Social Security for my entire working life, which is a long time at this point. And the idea that I might not be getting that anymore is genuinely terrifying. So, like, someone who cares about that, 'cause Chuck Grassley doesn't care if I get my Social Security. I can tell you that.
No, and it's very clear where Miss Joni Ernst stands on things too. Miss, we're all going to die.
We're all gonna die, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, girl, we know. Maybe we should just use that argument against her. So anytime she's trying to advocate for like pro-life movements, we'll just be like, Joni, we are all
We're all
going
gonna
to die.
die.
So maybe stop. I don't know. It's a shit show, but there's been a lot happening in Iowa since the election. It's only going to get more and more exciting as we
Hmm.
get closer to the 2026 midterm elections,
Yes.
which will take place in November of 2026. Of course, there will be a primary election in June of
Oh yeah.
2026. The primary will determine who the Democratic and Republican and independent candidates will be when we vote in November. So, for instance, there are quite a few people running for the role of senator. They're in the running to be America's next top senator from Iowa. Joni Ernst is up for re-election, so a few other people have thrown their name in the running. They will have to face off against one another in June, and then whoever wins that will go against Joni in the midterm general
Yep.
election.
And we have, who do we have? Nathan Sage,
We got Nathan Sage.
Jennifer Confers.
This kind of leads into exactly what I wanted the next segment to be, which is
I love that. This is perfect.
talking about what's changed since our last episode. And one of the biggest parts of that is the announcement that Governor Kim Reynolds will no longer be running. She will not be running in 2026. She said, you know what? My numbers suck ass, and so do I. Let's get out of here.
I got into a fight with a guy on TikTok recently because he was like, the governor's amazing. And I'm like, the governor who year after year has had the worst approval rating, like to the point where your homeboy Trump was like mocking her openly, repeatedly. Like, no, 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 nobody likes her. Nobody likes her. She's the worst.
No, she has a terrible approval rating.
Yeah.
Iowa is just simply not thriving under this leadership. You look at
No.
they have the trifecta at the state level, and they have all of the like national level seats filled. So, U.S. Senate, we've got 2 Republicans,
Yeah.
2 out of 2 spaces. U.S. Congress, we've got 4 Republicans from Iowa
Indeed.
out of the 4. And then in the
Correct.
state house, there's a Republican governor, there is a Republican Senate, and a Republican House of Representatives. And guess where that has led us as Iowans? I will let you in on a secret. Not great.
It's not great. It's pretty toilety, actually, which is unfortunate.
Pretty toilety. The economy is tanking. It was recently, and we'll talk about this later, Iowa has one of the worst economies in the entire country. People are moving away from places like Iowa. Our population is not growing, and it's especially not growing in the younger, educated realm of things.
Right. Yes, that's specifically where it's not growing. Correct.
But so Kim Reynolds is
yeah.
running, but guess who is running for governor?
Who's doing it?
Rob Sand and other people, but we'll talk about Rob Sand first. So Rob Sand,
he was the first to make the like big announcement. He was the one who
he was the first, yes, and he announced.
He was the first.
I don't know. I feel like maybe I just wasn't paying attention in other elections. I feel like people are announcing early, or like
it does feel early.
I could just be completely out of the loop on that, but I'm good with that. I mean, give us more time to get to know the candidate and make our decision and get involved.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think I don't think anyone was surprised by his announcement either. So I think there was a lot of pressure for him to just say it.
No,
so he did.
That was not surprising. A lot of people consider Rob to be like the one who can win, the one who can turn things around for Iowa. I was thinking about the last time Iowa had a Democratic governor. That was Tom Vilsack. And when he was elected in 1998, it had been a while since Iowa had a Democratic governor. And the message that he brought to the table was it was time to rotate the crops. And I was like, that is good. So good because every Iowan understands that. Leadership was getting a bit stale. It was time to rotate the crops. So I'm like, bada bing, bada boom, bring that back.
Yeah, no, that's smooth. I like that.
It's time to rotate the crops.
It's time to rotate the crops. I think that's great. Feenstra also threw his hat in the ring.
He did.
And I saw so he had this. I saw an ad of his, and I don't know why he's. I don't know what this ad was for. It came sort of on the heels of I saw a Trump ad, like Trump's people doing an ad for Trump, who was actively the president. Like I've never seen that before, and it was super weird. And
I've seen
then
those too lately.
Feenstra, they're weird. And then Feenstra did one, and it was basically an ad for Trump. It was super bizarre, like super strange. It's their cultiness never ceases to disgust me. Um,
And
and they
I
don't say
saw
anything.
I saw an ad for him, and he's like, "I'm 6'5", by the way, and I will stand tall for Iowans." And we're like, "No one cares, Randy. No one gives a single shit. We don't know who you are. All we know about you is that you were somehow less
Mhm.
bad than Steve King, who used to represent your district. So
Somehow, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
calm down, sir." But there were other Republicans who announced, including former state rep Brad Sherman. Brenna Bird
Huh.
could throw her name into the ring. It's likely.
It
She's a big
is,
kiss
but
ass for
ew.
Donald Trump. I heard she's never tried a case, and she is the Attorney General of Iowa, which I think is just interesting.
Well, oh, I did not know that. That's bad. She sucks. Okay, that's fascinating.
We'll have a whole episode someday on Brenna Bird because there's a lot of material there that people just don't know
Uh,
that are
do you think
within her
she'd come
power
on the
to do.
show?
There's a standing invitation for any candidate that we name to come on the show. Brenna Bird,
It's
come
true,
on the
correct.
show. Kim Reynolds, come on the show. Randy Feenstra, Minnie Mouse,
Anybody?
Miller Meeks, Marionette. But then, did I say former rep Steve, former state rep Brad Sherman, and
Yeah.
current senator Mike Busolo. You might have like recognized his name from a headline. He was a legislator who was trying to buy 9 counties in Minnesota to become part of
Oh, that
Iowa.
guy. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Guy. So he's
yeah.
kind of out there, but he has launched an exploratory campaign uh, or group to see if he has a chance. Numbers are kind of showing that he doesn't, but for some reason he has support
Sure.
from Terry Branstad, who used to be the governor of Iowa before Kim Reynolds.
Weird.
Yeah, but also like the bar is in hell for Republicans in this state.
Correct.
It's not
Correct.
impressive to be on the staff for a Republican in Iowa. Sorry, that's my take. You just have to sell
Yeah,
your
yeah, no,
soul
thank
and like be in the right
you.
room.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we have that. We have Joni Ernst's seat. We're all gonna die. Joni Ernst, her seat's up. So we have Nathan Sage, who I went and saw speak recently, actually. And he has a very eat the rich mentality that I am here for. I find it delicious. I really like it. He's one of those guys. He reads as a Republican on paper. He's, blue collar, from small town, all that stuff, but he is progressive, nice dude. I look forward to seeing his campaign. I look forward to seeing everyone's campaign. I'm pretty excited about this primary season. It's exhausting, but I think we're going to get a lot of good stuff out of it and learn a lot. So we've got him, JD Schulten, Sioux City, right? JD?
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
JD. I
I
really
like
like
JD.
JD. I went to his event at XBK Live when he was doing. I I know that, but whoever's listening doesn't. I guess I could change it to we went to JD's event at
No,
XBK
it just
Live.
because there's been
This
so many
happens a
times where
lot.
you
I
forget
know.
we did. You're like,
I
I went to this thing. I'm
know.
like, we went together. You gave me a ride.
My brain is rotted, Sarah. My brain is rotted. But yes, we went to this event
We
together.
did.
We were both there. We had a great time. I
We
appreciated
did.
that JD was holding town halls across Iowa in like a really kind of cool way. There was a comedian, there were musical artists and speakers, and I don't know, it just felt really important to gather as a community and hear from a legislator who cares and has a way with communicating with the public.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then Zach Walls just announced.
And then Zach Walls just
Yeah,
announced.
and
I'm a
he
Zach Walls girly. I like all of these candidates. I've liked Zach for
same.
a long time. Uh, a lot of us remember when he was 19 years old, he spoke on behalf of his 2 moms. and had a really important and profound message about marriage equality. So people remember him. That went viral. He has been kind of just in the party doing good work. He was Senate Minority Leader for a short stint last
He was.
session, but left that position because he was making too many changes too fast. That was the word on the street. I don't know everything that went down, but
Sure.
I kind of like someone that wants to change things a bit. I don't know the
Absolutely.
complexity of the situation, but holy shit, we got to do something different.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that race is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited for that primary. I think all three of them. And I don't think we're done hearing candidates either. I think more people are going to be throwing
No.
their hat in the ring in the next couple of weeks. I don't think we're done. But yeah, I think those three are going to have a lot of really interesting things to say. And I think that race is going to be. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be interesting. I think all three of them come from sort of different places, but we will get a candidate out of it, and that is awesome. And I do believe that candidate can beat Joni Ernst, especially because she shot herself in the fucking foot.
She did. Um, yeah, the bar is low,
The
and we have
bar the bar is
excellent
in hell.
candidates that are announcing left and right. I feel really positive going into a primary with any of these, and leaving the primary, I'm going to be thrilled to fight to elect whoever
Yep,
wins.
same.
Iowans are very hungry for change right now, and I think a robust primary process could be really cool to really establish what we want in a candidate, and hopefully they listen more to the voters and really get behind what they're hearing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So then for Iowa District 3, because we are getting rid of Zach Nunn this time around.
We are, let's get rid of Zach Nunn.
Zach Nunn. Let's get rid of Zach Nunn.
And we
I'm
do
so
not
happy to
condone
bring that
violence.
chant back. We don't. No, I haven't talked about how punchable his face is yet. But now we cannot condone violence.
We do not condone
Uh,
violence, but some people just have really
but
punchable faces
it's true, and one of them happens to,
to be
represent
our
District 3.
congressman.
He does.
But two
Uh,
really stellar people have announced against
yes.
Zach Nunn. Jennifer Conforst, who was the House Minority Leader, and Sarah Trone Garriott, who I, in my head, automatically just say STG.
STG.
So many wonderful women in politics have had three initial names, and
That's
STG is
true.
perf. RBG, AOC,
RBG. Yeah, all those things. And then,
because FDR, JFK.
FDR was a lady. Both of those were ladies in politics.
No, I said and FDR. So maybe it's not just the ladies. Don't quote
FDR.
me, Sarah.
Either way, STG, Jennifer Comforst are both great. Again, another primary that I think is going to be really interesting. And again, I don't think we're done hearing candidates. I think other people are going to be throwing their hat in the ring. And
Totally.
we're going to be, there's going to be we're going to be busy, Liz. You and I are going to be busy talking about this stuff. And then, yeah, you know more about. I focus on 3 because I live here, but 2 and 4, we have some folks who've already
Yes,
thrown their hats in.
yes, yes. And I'm sure, as you've mentioned, it's not done. There are still people who are going
No,
to throw their names in.
yeah, no.
But my old district, I used to live in Dubuque, so this is Iowa House District 2, currently represented by Republican Ashley Hinson, who has also not had some very good town halls lately. Uh,
No.
I don't know. I wish I was there. I wish I could attend every town hall and just like sit in the back of the room with a crazy smile, like accountability.
We have to get some teleporting. We got to get teleporting in.
We do. We need a high speed rail across Iowa.
Don't get me started. Do not get me started on public transportation in Iowa. Anyway.
Kevin Takau announced he has all the accolades. He has a wonderful resume. And I think anything is better than a Republican who just says yes
There it
to
is.
Donald Trump over and over again and doesn't fight for
Correct.
Iowans. So go, Kevin. Go, anybody else who enters this race. I think right now it would just be amazing if anybody across the state who thought maybe they could run explored it. There are so many wonderful people who think that they shouldn't because I don't know, they're shy. They're shy. They don't want to
We
go
don't
through like the
we don't know
scrutiny.
about that.
I just hope people run. If they care about the state, I think
Yeah.
they should run. Throw their name in. And then Ryan Melton is running again against Randy
Again.
Feenstra, Ryan Melton, though, he is so consistently standing on business. I went to a town hall event he had in Boone. That was a couple months ago, just talking about water quality and like the environmental issues that Iowans face that nobody talks about because all of our representatives look the other way. Ryan Melton stands on business. He doesn't have a
Yeah.
lot of establishment support, which stinks. I think people write off District 4 as a sort of lost cause, and I don't think they should.
No, absolutely. They absolutely do. Again, we're heading into midterms, and we know history has proven that midterms swing back the other way. So hopefully we are in for some big changes.
There are some cool things at play that make me feel hopeful in Iowa.
Okay.
One of those is that midterms, yes, typically swing the other way. Whoever's in control in DC, it typically swings the other way. So Republican control, Dems have potentially a blue wave coming. Historically, that's what it's looked like. But if we have somebody really exciting at the top of the ticket, like a Rob Sand running for governor, that benefits everybody down ballot too.
Absolutely.
So another thing working in our favor is that Kim Reynolds is not running. Typically, incumbents do better. We don't
Yep.
have an incumbent this race, so
We do not. Because
let's get
she's
into it.
very, very unpopular and she's like,
Once again, I would like to say Kim Reynolds is very unpopular, and I hope she has a terrible retirement.
I hope she has the life she deserves. Let's just say that.
Period. There are also statewide elections, yay, or state level elections. There
Correct.
are people announcing left and right to run for state senate or state house. I'm excited about some of the younger candidates who have announced, in particular in House District 72. So that's like Dubuque. Matt Robinson is running to represent Dubuquers and beyond in that area at the state house. Currently, that's represented by Jennifer Smith. We can do so much better than Jennifer Smith. Matt Robinson is an excellent candidate, and he's 33 years old. And like, again, I'm not ageist, but I want to see a better mix of ages at the state capitol so
100%.
everyone is being represented. In addition, Leela Staten, I think I'm saying that correctly, of Insufferable Wenches, is running, and India May. India May is the person who said, people are going to die at Senator Joni Ernst's town hall. And the reason that we have that wonderful soundbite of Joni Ernst saying, well, we all are going to die.
And no affiliation, but Ray has made a T-shirt that is the "Welcome to Iowa" sign, except for it says "We're all gonna die," and it's just beautiful. It's perfect,
That is
and I love
perfect.
it. Very exciting primary season coming up. Lots to cover, lots to think about. There are going to be a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of stuff happening, and we'll talk a little bit later about ways you can get involved.
Yeah, I mean, our whole mission here is to inform people, energize people, mobilize progressives in Iowa, and get to work so we can make some change in the state. A lot of that looks like preparing for the next election. A lot of that looks like coming together, having listening sessions, getting to know your community and the people who represent it, and make rules for where you live. So things are not going so hot. I also want to mention something else that's changed since the last time we met or recorded. We have met many
Yeah, we've
times
seen each
since,
other
we
many
haven't
times since
recorded
then.
it. Um,
Correct.
Iowa's Republican state government orchestrated the removal of transgender civil rights.
Yes.
And that is unacceptable in a state where we have water quality issues that are poisoning people, when we
Correct.
have the lowest GDP in the entire country, when we have a genuine issue with retaining educated young people in this
Hmm.
state, we are going to put our time and energy as a legislature into taking people's civil rights away. That was
Yes.
fucked.
Yes.
Thousands of people showed up at the state capitol to protest it.
Well, you were there, right?
I was there.
Yeah, I was there too. It was the first time because I obviously find myself at the Capitol relatively often for various demonstrations and whatever. And this was the first one where there was a line around the building. Like it was incredible. And it was another, there was same similar deal with the Trump trucks and the giant flags. There was a guy running or driving around, but he had a giant socialist flag on the back of his truck, and he was like on our side, but everyone, like, he started honking and everyone just paused and we're like, what's his flag say? Oh no, he's on our side, he's on our side, and like
Yeah.
started cheering. Yeah, that was a hard day, obviously, because showing up did not have the outcome we wanted, but it was incredible to see. I mean, it was wall to wall in there once you got in the building, and it was crazy. It was great.
Iowans are mobilizing. We are
They really
organizing.
are.
People are waking up. There are a couple of races that have gone from like solidly Republican to likely Republican, and I can imagine these races will be getting more and more like neutral or could
Yep.
go either way as time goes
Yep.
on. I see people in Iowa. I see them on the internet. I see them in real life. I see that people care and that people want something to be different. So I'm excited to see that materialize, hopefully in 2026. And we'll just keep pushing it along. We'll keep informing people, telling people what's up, and standing on issues like reproductive justice and public education. Speaking of, kind of, I'll come up
I feel
with a
like that
different
segue did not. I feel like that segue did not
segue.
work as well as you wanted it to. Just rewind that one.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Some political headlines that we can't ignore and we should discuss right now. I pulled a few and I was
Political headlines that we can. Whoa.
okay. Wait. Okay, let me try it again. Knock, knock. The Wallet Hub study that claims that Iowa's economy ranks last in the nation.
Yay!
This came out recently, and I think people hear like the word economy and they tune out. They're like, I don't want to talk about it. It's too complex.
Sure.
It's not that complex. Let me break it down. We have a shit labor force in this state. Farm revenue is decreasing. Layoffs in manufacturing are taking place. Tariffs are driving up costs. Rural hospitals, which are large employers for places in Iowa, are on the brink of closing due to Medicaid cuts. I will even go as far to say that schools are on the brink of closing because public
What's happened
schools,
closing?
yeah, Orient
It's been
Mockburg
happening.
definitely did.
Yep.
Hoover Elementary School in Dubuque recently did. And this is all connected to the school voucher scheme. So
Hmm.
when you're taking money away from public institutions that benefit everybody and giving that money to just a handful of charter schools, there's no way for the public schools to be supported enough to maintain. And that means fewer kids are getting access to quality public education in this state. Some of them aren't even near a charter school, so there's no way that they could even like make that change or have that choice. But in addition to that, those are employers,
Yep. It's
teachers running
also
these schools.
directly related to taking away reproductive rights because now you don't have a hospital. Well, we've already hospitals are closing. We have the least OBGYNs in the country in Iowa, and young doctors, people aren't moving here, and hospitals are closed. Hospitals don't just employ doctors and nurses. There are so many other people who work in that building, and that building closes, and those people are unemployed. Like it's
And
that
that
simple.
doesn't even get into the health outcomes that will be impacted by
No,
this
no, no,
report.
no, no,
We're just
no,
talking
no.
strictly economics.
Correct.
And in addition to that, we are seeing other issues that are very much also connected to the lack of seriousness and the lack of concern or care that our GOP legislature has for Iowans. Another headline that I want to talk about is the nitrate level in Iowa's water sources. We recently in Des Moines had a water alert where we weren't allowed to like water our lawns or take long showers because nitrate levels had gotten so bad in the Raccoon River for
Well, we can't
consuming
use it.
those.
That's the problem. So the reason there's the water shortage is the Raccoon River is we're no longer taking water from it because it is so filthy
Is
that we
that what
can't.
happened?
That's what
Jesus.
happened. Yeah. So it's not a drought. It's not water shortage that is causing this. It's literally the water is disgusting and not fit for human consumption. I was driving with a friend the other day and we're driving over the River and there's this big pretty sign over it that says "Us drinking source." And I was like,
Yes.
not now,
That's
not
why I got confused
currently.
because
Yeah.
I drive by that sign all the
Yeah.
time. And yeah, apparently, and I'm reading this now, the Raccoon River hit twice the federal limit of safe drinking water. People cannot pull
Yep.
from that. And nitrates, just to break it down, they are a form of nitrogen that is commonly found in plant nutrients, so like commercial fertilizer. It's commonly used for farming. So as we have things like drought or when there is a push for the maximum return on a crop yield, folks, farmers, are putting massive amounts of this fertilizer on their plants so that they can grow and that they can produce the food, the goods that are needed. The problem is that nitrate from those fertilizers runs off into our water sources and poisons us. There was an alert in Dubuque just recently that the nitrates have become a bigger problem than ever. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency's nitrate limit for water is 10 milligrams per liter, but as much as just 3 milligrams of nitrate per liter of water can result in cancer. So we are playing with time, we are playing with science, and it's all in the name of propping up the ag industry and continuing business
100%.
as usual when it's not helping anybody. It's actually likely, I don't want to be quoted on this because I don't want to get sued, but the cancer crisis in Iowa right now is not unrelated to the
No.
environmental impacts.
Yeah, and I think we would be remiss to not remind everyone that Iowa has, I think it's the second highest rate of cancer, new cases of cancer in the country. I don't remember who beats us, but Iowa is number two
We're
in
number
new cases.
two. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's terrible. I mean, nitrates also can cause birth effects and it kills our aquatic life. If that's not enough to make you concerned about this topic, I don't know what will get you then.
right.
If you don't care
Yeah,
about birth effects, the death of our environment,
uh,
or cancer.
so there's been talk that in the not too distant future, pregnant women and children under the age of whatever will not be able to drink the water without it being boiled first, or just have to switch to bottled water, which then becomes a new environmental crisis. It's all horrible. This is the bad place.
And we are really
Anyway,
not asking for much here in Iowa.
no,
We're like, can we just be able to drink the water and like not have the craziest cancer levels? But
that'd be nice.
it unfortunately does always go back to the government that is
Mhm.
allowing research or
Yep.
putting regulations on things. And when you have a government that is both incompetent and negligent, both at the federal level and at the state level, you get shit like this. These are very
This is what happens.
serious consequences from an unserious group of people. A new law, speaking of incompetence, says that the University of Iowa must create a Center for Intellectual Freedom on campus. Now that sounds all fine and good, intellectual freedom.
Yeah.
What this is saying that there needs to be space. They need to hold space for
Mhm.
conservative thoughts and ideas on campus because
Right.
campuses are too liberal, they're too woke. Um, Although they are trying to do away with DEI on campus, this is very much like DEI for
Yeah.
conservatives. It's their
Yeah.
safe space.
For the party that literally was like, "Oh, safe spaces, shut up," they get butt hurt in a way that is so incredible. I had a guy come on TikTok and tell me that Mainframe Studios is the largest nonprofit art studio building in the whole country. It is in downtown Des Moines. It is filled with 200 working creatives. It is an artistic space. And this man got mad at me because he said that when he went there, people were mean to him about Trump and, were spewing liberal values at him. And I was like, okay, I have two questions here. One, did you expect this to be some sort of safe space for you? Because that's absurd. But two, I know these people. It's a lot of introverts. So unless you were like jumping around in a MAGA hat or actively saying something, no one was starting these conversations with you unfounded. So like, let's just pack it in a little bit.
The fact of the matter is, there is a reason why everyone on college campuses are just so liberal. It's not the case for every single college campus, but you might notice that the more educated someone becomes, the farther left they lean politically. What the right is attempting to do is interfere in that and force us to allow conservatives to have a space at the table, which, oh my God, are they not taking up enough space at every other table everywhere?
Correct. I mean, Charlie Kirk does it. He goes on these campus tours to like rile up angry young men, and it's just like, don't do that.
I
Just don't do
know.
that, my guy.
And it especially stinks because we're seeing this big wave of anti-intellectualism, right? And
Hmm.
it's, oh, they're too woke, they're too this, the doctors don't know anything. That's going to get us nowhere. That's actually going to ruin our country. That is going to stop things like research of infectious diseases.
This leaning towards like, I know better, I don't care about what the experts say, etc. I am 40 years old. I have to go get a measles booster at my next doctor's appointment. You know how I never had to get adult measles boosters? My parents, because everyone was getting the measles vaccine. Like it's not we eradicated all of these diseases and people were like, "Well, I know better." Do you? Do you, Sharon?
No, they don't
It's
even.
absurd. So,
Yeah, I think we share the same frustration there, where it's like we are intelligent enough to know that we don't know everything. And in
correct.
some cases, it is best to defer to an expert. And you have to have trust in those
When in
institutions.
doubt.
You have to have a system that works with people who are competent enough to run it and lead the way. I don't know what their plan is as far as doing away with like real science and how they think
I
we're going to survive as a
it gives me
species, but I guess we'll get there when we get there.
we'll get there when we get there and then, we'll just have severe anxiety until then. It's fine. We'll be fine. It's fine. I mean, I think that's a nice list of things that are pissing us off generally in what's going on in the great state of Iowa. Yes.
While we are pissed off and while we are
Yes.
certainly not lacking things to be pissed off about and things to be concerned about, there are a great number of things that are giving us hope right now. Not only just the candidates that we've seen announced, who are quality candidates who we believe can run and beat the people who are currently in charge, but also just the action that we're seeing from grassroots movements. So, our local Democratic Party, the Polk County Democrats, the Story County Dems, and outside of that, not even like politically
Dallas
affiliated
County.
groups or people. Dallas County, yeah, all the counties, lots of
Yeah.
counties.
All the counties.
People are showing up to events like the Next Century Forum
Yep.
or
Yep.
attending protests, or I have a book club. I started a book club. People actually go
You
to
do.
it. People actually participate in the
I
Discord
know.
and read the book and want to be a part of a community that's looking toward the future in Iowa and in the United States. So that's given me hope.
I think about our two special elections we had recently that went so incredibly blue, which is super exciting, and I think is a good marker for what's going to happen in the midterms. Like seeing even months after the election, people being like, "Oh, we've made a mistake," and swinging the other way. I think bodes really, really well for what's coming up.
Iowans are largely rational people. We
Hmm.
are not like there are some extremists, there are some extreme voices. A lot of them are at the Capitol on Forge, but for the most part, Iowans don't like extremism. They don't like the culture wars. They just want their problems solved by
Hmm.
serious people, and I think that's what we
Yep,
can deliver in 2026, and hopefully get a little bit of power back in the state house. The governor's mansion would be sick.
that would be super sick. Yeah,
Fingers crossed. And you and I, Sarah, we will just continue bringing the details, bringing the heat,
correct.
bringing the
Doing the
news, bringing
yapping,
opportunities. We're going to yap
all the
back and
yaps.
forth. We're going to
Hmm.
yap. We're going to, I don't know, probably hang out once or twice, probably record
We'll
a few
hang out.
more
We'll go do
podcast
more events.
episodes.
We'll probably, yeah, we'll do more events. We'll do stuff. It's so important to get the word out there. It's so important to talk about this stuff. Politics aren't as scary as people make them out to be, and it's good to be informed.
It is good to be informed. And really, as we continue to build out this season of episodes,
Hmm.
as we get through the summer and into fall and into 2026, I really want people to know that we will just be here. We will be conducting interviews with grassroots organizers, local business owners, other creatives,
Yep.
some
Candidates.
candidates, educators. There are just so many wonderful people in our circles and people that we kind of know but want to get to know better, that I think this is exactly the space that we should have those conversations. So
Yep.
stay tuned and share
Yep.
this podcast. Leave us a review, subscribe to us, rate us, follow us on Instagram, on TikTok,
All those things.
at Liz from Iowa, and
At Sarah Bowes, but it's Booz. No one ever believes me. And you can also follow Iowa We Can Do Better on Instagram as well. So follow
hell
along.
yes, hell
Follow
yes.
us, follow what's happening.
Exactly. I've really missed recording with you, Sarah, and putting
Yeah,
out
same.
episodes. So I'm glad that we're back.
Same.
We will continue to work towards a better Iowa. Thank you for listening and check back in next time.
Yay!
Yay!